put on this computer. Thank you. Just told me recording in progress. I'm gonna talk to you all about recording. Okay, so just for today, we're gonna look at doTERRA's new nutritional line, and hopefully just sort of let it sit with us and knowing that from here, there's more places to go, if that makes sense. This is
okay.
the part of it. So I think this is it right here. And I think I can go to here. I'm just waiting. I think you're allowed to, I think you all have to agree to this sharing taking place.
I did already.
Okay, thank you. And let's see if we can share from here. There. So I'm actually going to go past the video. So doTERRA, the research team has been working really hard, really at health, like foundations of health. And it's the chiropractors, naturopaths, and functional doctors, researchers, and sort of guided by that principle of functional health, have really been working hard on uncovering and discovering what we need for our bodies to live well and to thrive and to nourish. And today we're going to talk about metabolism. And I love this, why we need a metabolic health awakening, because for me right now, I know with COVID, I'm saying that word, with the COVID, that lockdown, that emotional strain that it's put on myself and many others, that has affected my hormones and metabolism. And I need to bust out of it. Like, I need to get out of this. Understand a little bit about relationship between health span. This is a word that they have, biological aging and metabolic health. And here's the tools we can talk about to slow biological aging and put more years into your life. And really, it's for me, it's understanding metabolism and glucose management. So this is, there's a little a worksheet that I can send to you, but I know we can do this all together. And when we look at this, or if you want to put it in the chat, actually might be good too, is what do you feel are the targeted areas right now that this could be the COVID, or this could just be in general, what's hitting you hardest here? I look for myself, and I was just noticing like my stress, number one, from the job that I do. And I'm totally happy to say I have a very stressful job, very, right?
No.
And many, right? Or there could be dynamics in my life that increase the stress. It ain't always easy. So I look at that as a huge factor where many people have been sitting right now, is this higher amount of stress. And truthfully, it did affect my mood. Like, even though I'm a generally happy person, I just felt, the weight, it says weight, different weight, but I felt the weight, the emotional weight. And I could just feel my energy at work. It just feels like the battery is out, completely out of power. And by the time I'm getting myself home, I don't have the clarity. I'm just like, I'm totally crashed. I did sleep well though, thankfully. Just how my body works, I was still sleeping okay. And I could say that there was weight gain in ways that, I'm not necessarily ever upset with my body. I love my body for what it is, but I do notice, that could be a direct side effect of the stress that I'm under and the hormones that are surging. So if you want to put anything in the chat right now, what do you feel for you is, what would help me? Or you can say it if you want. Who's out there? Put it in the chat. Or are you going to say it?
I pretty much the same as you, just the 2.5 years of like being understaffed and overwhelmed. And by the time you get home, you don't, like, your battery's drained, just like you said, and you don't have energy to go work out or to do the things that make you happy, or to even do homework if you need to. And
Mhm.
just like you're running on empty for a while is okay, but running on empty for this long is, you kind of don't know how to get out of it because it's been so long.
I agree.
Okay. Well, that is why this hit me at the right time, and hopefully it's hitting us at the right time. We're getting this support. So this, this is the science, little science nerd in me. I love, I do, I love. It is a cellular level. It's so incredible. Biochemistry wasn't my strongest class. However, I do understand what's going on, and really stepping back from it is knowing that what we put into our body really affects us being able to manage everything else in our life. And digestion, having so many people with these unexplainable digestive situations going on, I don't know how else to put it, that really, healing this inflammation that's happening in so many people's guts is going to start that wellness at a cellular level. And there's many different parts to this. Everything's very, as we talked, is all connected. But I know that shifting nutrition and digestion, as it says on here, is our primary goal in healing. What is metabolic health? So some of us might remember that word ATP, metabolic health, and I don't know if it's in the slide. Oh yeah, I'll go back. Metabolic health is that transfer of food energy into, or that food that we take in into energy that we use. And it's a very chemical process when you get down it, looking at it. And there's many different things that affect it. Here are some of the big things. So healthy eating, absolutely number one. And healthy eating, this can be different for many different people depending on sensitivities, but there are some key aspects that we're going to talk about, not necessarily in this workshop, but in another workshop, about what are some really important things that we can do to help with healthy eating. Daily movement is key. And as we age, the daily movement can change from person to person. I know a lot of people, a lot of nutritionalists and naturopaths, like people that are working in the health area, they're saying that the movement doesn't have to be that high intensity movement that we, might have been doing in our 20s, and really looking at cortisol stress relieving movements, which is walking and hiking and stretching. And that could be that restorative yoga, but really important to bring that, into our day. Healthy connections, really having people in your life that you can trust and talk to, that are safe people. And that's a part of this community too, is that it is a safe place for us to talk about how we're feeling and what we're noticing with ourselves, and being honest without judgment. Stress management, which is one of my favorites, and I've been working hard at this, is that, pausing for a breath. So having that built into our support group that we're going to be creating, or a workshop group that we're going to be creating, is really important to me, because I know that it has transformed my own personal well-being. And the last one is this smart supplementation. And this is actually where we're starting today, because it's interesting to hear how we can support everything else just with the foundation of that nutrition and also digestion. And that's where the smart supplementation comes in.
Sorry, Melissa.
Yeah.
I'm still only seeing screen 2. Are you moving?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm only
It was
seeing
first
the,
thing.
Did it freeze? Okay. I'll see if I can come out and come back in. Did it change now for you?
no.
Oh,
Yep.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So that's what I was just talking about. Hopefully that made sense, what I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And maybe I can just do it this way. Maybe that'll keep the system working well. So this isn't just us, like this is really a huge amount of people right now are really struggling with metabolic health, and it's cardiometabolic health because it does affect our heart. And we do need like a nutritional metabolic awakening to really support the well-being of our community as well as just like the humans. This is happening all over the planet. It's not just isolated here. This is interesting because the metabolic health and biological age are inseparable. So when we have strong metabolic health, we have this ability to almost feel and look younger, or like experience youth or revitalized youth. And a part of it is as we age, our metabolism, what's happening in our body does shift. And if we're not supporting it in the right way, this is what I'm learning even more about. If we're not supporting how our hormones and how our body is shifting, we're actually like speeding up aging and really hurting our system as a whole. So people are finding ways to almost reverse aging, not in the big way that we know, not in the candles on the cake, not on the earth, but that way that we can actually change how we're feeling and feeling younger. Here, let me see if this one, tell me if this works, because this is Dr. O. He's just incredible, this guy. Let's see. Yes? Thumbs up? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dr. Russell Osgathorpe, and I'm so thrilled to talk with you about health span. Just to be clear, health span is not the same thing as lifespan. Lifespan is the number of years we live, whereas health span is the number of years we live healthy. Now, I know that many of you have seen this graph several times, but it is so important to our understanding of the MetaPWR system that I'm going to go into greater detail than we ever have before. Because if you understand this graph, you'll take MetaPWR the rest of your life and be able to share it more effectively with others. If we consider our lifespan, the number of years we are alive, on the horizontal axis here, and our health span, the quality of our cognitive and physical performance on the vertical axis here, we can draw a curve that represents what naturally happens to our health span as we age, shown here in gray. However, the reality is we live in an incredible time where medicine and science can extend our lives. This dark blue line represents what happens when we use the best of medicine to try and manage issues related to a poor lifestyle. As these interventions improve our numbers, like blood sugar, blood pressure, and lipids, we can gain a modest amount of health span and lifespan. But what is staggering to me is how little benefit is derived from decades of this type of management. Look how close that blue line is to the gray line. It's incredibly minimal. As we near the end of our life on the blue line, you can see how through heroic use of life-extending medical technology, we can extend an individual's lifespan by a few years. But look at the quality of life that person is experiencing. Our lives might be extended by these heroic medical efforts, but one could argue that they are not enriched. Finally, let's look at the orange line. This is more typical for master athletes and people stacking healthy lifestyle habits consistently throughout their lives. What is most impressive about this group of people is that health span and lifespan can both be significantly improved. People who optimize their metabolism through daily exercise, diet, relationships, stress management, and of course, smart supplementation can not only potentially live longer, but add life to those years. Here's my dream, my why for my health span. Well into my 90s, I want to be able to spend a day, many days, out fly fishing with my posterity. I'd be able on any of those days to back my truck down the ramp, unload my drift boat, launch that boat, and then row that boat myself all day long. Watch my kids and posterity catch boatloads of fish. And then at the end of my life, I'd go home from a day of fishing, enjoy dinner with my family, and peacefully pass away in my sleep. that would be a health span that matches or equals my lifespan. Let me show you how that works. Let's assume that here on the vertical axis, we have 100% quality of cognitive and physical health during young adulthood. Now let's draw a line across this chart at 50% function. This is the stage of physical and cognitive health span where we are still capable of caring for ourselves, still living independently. We might not be running a 10-minute mile anymore, but we are probably able to walk a brisk 15-minute mile without difficulty with our kids or grandkids. Said differently, above this line, you can still do the things you want to do, although you might notice slight declines in your performance as you age closer to that 50% line. Below this line, living independently becomes more difficult due to cognitive decline or having enough physical strength and stamina to perform our daily activities. Now, if we continue that line at 50% function across the chart, look at where it intersects the blue line versus the orange line. This is what you need to understand. Look at what you can gain when you optimize your metabolism. Look at those years, but more importantly, look at the life that is added to those years. Currently, in North America, toward the end of our lifespan, we spend about 8 years, sometimes as many as 15 years, dealing with challenges that take away our quality of life and lower our health span. We can't always have a health span that lines up perfectly with lifespan, but we can certainly do better. Our lifestyle choices can extend our health span, full stop. When we combine a mindful and consistent approach to our diet, movement, stress management, relationships, and smart supplementation, we can maximize all the efforts we make in improving our lifestyle and then reap the benefits for all of our years to come. There are no magic paths to achieve this goal of prolonged health span. It will require serious effort by teams of caring and coordinated people. That is what we excel at. Have you helped people change their lives with doTERRA essential oils? MetaPWR will now allow you to impact not only individual lives, but generations. Here's the even better news. It does not matter where you are on the curve or how old you are when you start. Any lasting efforts made by an individual to make improvements in their lifestyle will reap tremendous benefits for years to come.
So
Great video.
yeah, it's pretty, he's put a lot of time and effort and work into this and really knows that health management piece, the best thing that he says is you can do anything right now. And I love that, because that's that kicking ourselves out of the fog to take care of ourselves in the future, like now and in the future. And I just love it. So there's a special molecule, and it's called NAD+. And it's a huge indicator of metabolic function. And at age 25, this starts to drop and your metabolic function declines. So that's just a natural process. But we've been influencing this natural process in a very negative way by the choices that we've made. And for some people, they might be like, oh, these past 3 years, I think I've aged 10. And that's that process, because our metabolic function is declining because of, for most of us, it's been like ridiculous amounts of stress. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. Okay, where are we going? There. So some of the obstacles that are sort of that metabolic health obstacles, we've got maturing fat cells, the cellular integrity, inferior supplements, and blood sugar spikes. When we look at, for me, the blood sugar spikes has been the key in my understanding of what we can do. Like what is within our control, is really understanding our blood sugar spikes. And inferior supplements, to me, that is key as well, because that's a part of the foundation. We've all talked before about how right now our nutritional foundation has changed based on our farming, and it is hopefully something that will change because we need to increase the health of our food and our soil. That's another discussion, but right now the blood sugar spikes is where I will be going, moving on once we start workshopping the product and having our community. I'm going to talk more about blood sugar spiking, what else we can do to help that. And I think most of us are taking LLV. So I look at the supplements and I'm like, well, we're already in that nutritional support range. I like this. What would it feel to live your most powerful life? So this is actually a really important process for all of us, because it sets that intention as to why. And I'm happy to share mine. For me, it's the ability to get outside in nature, to go for a hike. It's like my favorite thing to do in nature, to go for a walk. I'd love to be able to have more endurance hikes and go a little bit further and not feel it in my body. I'd like my body to be able to support that process of getting outside and moving. Also being able to survive a day without feeling like I'm like how my face is going to hit the floor when I get home, and my eyes, like it's like my eyeballs are crossed and my face is hitting the floor. I got to get out of that. That's not okay. And so being able to serve those kids in a healthy, happy way is really important to me. So I want to check in. What else in the books?
To serve our kids, but also to come home and have the energy to serve our family and ourselves.
Yeah.
I
You
give
hit
it all
the
at
nail on the
school
head.
and then nothing left.
Yeah. But that's the life of everyone, is it not, these days?
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, Melissa's hit the nail on the head. I find myself, as I'm moving through all of this and making an effort to say, okay, this is what's going on. Because when hey, I'm 70 years old and I go, what the? And still want to achieve what I want to achieve. One of my main goals is to do the senior games, and would like to run in it. So, and me being competitive, I have to aspire to come first. That's just me, right? But to be able to get out there and compete and feel really good about being able to do the work to compete is the goal that I've aspired to do for a long time in my senior years. But to be able to do it without your body falling apart, without you coming home and saying, okay, this is just not working because I can't strive to do. Doing what we are looking at doing and getting our bodies in a place where it will enable us to move forward in a direction that we want to go is just, it's a mirror, it's where we're going and what our bodies can do. Just think about the amazing things bodies can do throughout life, let alone, live simply. Do you know what I mean? Our bodies are incredible, and if we treat it right, they will treat us right. And I think, as far as science goes, this is brilliant.
Yeah. So I'm just going to start, we're just looking at the MetaPWR system. I'm not spending a ton of time in it because that'll be when we get it. Once we get the product, then we're going to spend that time in it and figuring out how we're going to use it. So this is the part where we are looking at supporting our glucose management is really what this is. So when it comes to nutrition, the big piece is, what is happening at the cellular level. Now, maturing fat cells, what's happening, and this is just a part of the process, is that as we age, our fat cells continue to add to them, and so they can grow. They have helped create this fat cell maturation. This is completely related to glucose management. So
Mhm.
I know we're making a slide on fat cell maturation, but it really is glucose management. And so the metabolic blend helps us not eat the carbs that we usually try to reach for when our system is low. That is just a normal thing, or the sugar that we try to reach for. That is a human thing. And this, our stress level that we've been under lately, for some people, this is what's exponentially causing that feeling of heaviness, is because we're putting these carbs into our bodies. But this is only for people who have the bodies that work this way. However, glucose spikes you might not see on every body, but they're happening and they're affecting people's brains and bodies at a cellular level. It might not look
Melissa,
at fat cell
Mhm.
maturation, but it can look like other
Mhm.
things in your body. Could be
and
emotion.
unfortunately,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, unless you have tests done to figure out where your A1Cs are, which is an indicator of where your glucose levels are in your body. I was talking to my doc, who said there are so many people walking around with a glucose overload. We're going to call it a precursor to type 2
Mhm.
diabetes, and they have no clue.
No.
They're in a fog all the time,
Yeah.
and they don't get it. So
And
even
that
being
is,
aware, you guys, of having your systems tested, it's a simple blood test, right? I think that we also have to say, I mean, I've had it happen to myself. I'm part of this study, which I'm grateful for, but I just thought, how many people are walking around and have no clue?
yeah. No, and that is, Mom, that's exactly what they're saying. That's how much, that's like almost 85 or higher percent of the population is walking around in glucose fog and doesn't know.
And has no clue,
Has no-
right? They just think it's part of life and aging.
Right. Oh, I'm just going to move to this next one. Blood sugar spikes. So this is where I really want to focus. And I'm going to go a little bit faster because I've only got 5 minutes.
Huh.
This one is huge. This MetaPWR Assist, I've looked into the science of it. And this is the practice that I'm using right now, is I'm learning how to manage the blood sugar spikes in my body. When we start looking at using this product and workshopping into October, this is where we're going to focus to start, is managing the spikes. We're going to use the MetaPWR Assist to help us, as well as one other one. Let me see. Where is the last one? It has to do with the cellular there. The MetaPWR Advantage is the second one we're going to look at, because this is addressing our cognitive function, and this is the collagen and NMN product. And this is also blowing, like a lot of people are looking at this and are feeling it when they're using it. So the two huge things for me, because I have understood how to shift my my eating, so I'm not getting cravings, and then using this to support the process to feel that health span. Collagen supplement, like this is like, I think there's like 28 different types of collagen, and it's extremely bioavailable. So this can really help boost our bodies out of the funk, as well as help us with the activities that we want to be doing. I like the cognitive function. So this is like my, will this get me through to the end of the day? Oh, there it is. So everything you've been told about collagen. So there's 12 more bioavailable types, and there's 9 unique collagen types in this. I'm going to just jump ahead. So understanding that in October, we might all look at using the product in different ways to see what works best for us. Some of us are going to be the blend people who are like, oh, I'm going to have, I like the soft gel, or I like putting the oil in my water, or I like the gum. I'm not a gum person, but I'm most likely a beadlet person. So if that's going to work for me, like I'd always take my little peppermint beadlets. I love it. So this is going to have that grapefruit and the lemon. And I have to also look, it's got the cinnamon in it. So it's going to be that nice burst in my mouth. I love it. And if I need to take it during the day, I will do that. But I don't, again, it's so busy at work. I don't even, I got to remind myself to eat. The second one, this is huge. This is the assist. And we'll talk more about this because we take this at the largest meal of the day. And I'm actually going to say for all of us, I'm hoping we eat breakfast or whatever our first meal of the day is, because we're going to try and make our first meal of the day the one that we use this with, because that sets the stage for the rest of your glucose for the day. And that's from other research that I've been doing. So we're going to take this one as well. We will all decide where we want to take the MetaPWR Advantage and see how that benefits us all depending on our lifestyles. And that's the collagen boost in the day. There's so many supplementary products that are going to support our knowledge with this. I'll make sure that we have, like, there's a workbook we can do. And Julie and I were like, oh, we could make like a community in Google. So I'm going to find these different places until the product becomes available in October and get that all set up for us so we can all do this together and track what's happening to our bodies. Being in community, also bringing that mindfulness in, will be very important. And we'll talk more about what works for us. So there's like only moments left. I'm sending love to all of you.
Are you going to post this on the
I will, yeah.
Facebook group?
We're going to take this and we're going to put it up in the Facebook group so people can see it and we can share it. I'll get it up in the YouTube, and that'll be how we can see it with everyone else. But just email me or text me thoughts and ideas, and we'll go from there, or just comment in the chat in our group. But I am really excited to share this with you. And I bet you this is going to be off right now.
And I think it's important that we all stick together with managing and with information going back and forth, especially like in a journal. So because everybody's going to react differently to this. And I think that education in itself is going to